Amen. And so let's give God praise as Cheyenne comes and does our fly moment. Amen.
I feel very weird being behind this pulpit. Anyways, how are you guys? You guys look very dead today. Hope you guys are having better days. Um, anyways, so recently when I've been reading my Bible, I've been doing a study on the children of Israel after they got delivered from Egypt, and I find it very interesting because like God did so many miracles for them, yet they still were always constantly complaining or backsliding or just did not like what God was doing for them. And so one of the things that I consider to be one of the biggest miracles that God did for them, besides of just delivering them from Egypt, was in Exodus 13:21 through 22. It says, "And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and at night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not depart from before the people." And so, what I like about this is God was literally leading them into his will, into the promised land, and yet they were still complaining about being delivered from Egypt and that they didn't want to leave Egypt. And so most of y'all know that like Egypt is a sign of sin and like the world and stuff. And so um hang on. I got to find my spot. I lost it. Anyways, so yeah, Egypt is a sign of sin and of the world, and God, when he delivered them from sin and from the world, he was literally leading them into his will, into the promised land, and yet they always found something to complain about. And so like in Exodus 15:26 it says, and Moses was speaking to the people, and he said, "If you diligently heed the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, and give ear to his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you which I have brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord your God." And so Moses was speaking to the children of Israel from what God had spoke to him, and God was telling them that like what I did to the Egyptians, so the 10 plagues that he can do to them, but he was leading them in his will. And so yeah, and so throughout this study, it's just how many times like we do the same thing as Christians, like even though God's not like physically leading us, he's still spiritually leading us, and we still always find something to complain about, or we still fall back into sin, or we're still always rejecting what God has to say to us. And so we can look at the children of Israel and quickly judge them like, man, like God delivered them from literal slavery, like they were being beaten and doing forced to do hard labor, and yet they still complained about being free. And many times as Christians we can do the same thing. We can be in literal freedom and have peace and have joy and yet complain about whatever circumstance, and so that's just something that I have been learning about. And so I think it's something that we all need to examine in our own hearts. It's something I definitely have to examine because I know I am not perfect and I complain and stuff about things I probably shouldn't, because of everything that God has done for me. And so, yeah, that's it.